Everything's okay now. Hey. Everything's okay now. Hey. Down the slide and back to your feet. Hey. And everything's okay now. Hey. 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 Everything's okay now. Hey. Down the slide and back to your feet. Hey. Life's your own little playground. Hey. Trying to figure out these mysteries. Hey. And everything's okay now. Hey. We trying to figure out these mysteries. Hey. And everything's okay now. Hey. And everything's okay now. Hey. You walk around standing on your feet.
Yeah,
Hey.
push it up.
Hey.
Push it up. And everything is okay now.
Hey. Hey. And I'm feeling brand new. Hey. Hey. It's a good day. And we just clearing out this energy. We just clearing out this energy. Hey. Hold up. Deep breath. Go. And we just clearing out this energy. Hey. We just clearing out this energy. You ever felt like you just needed a moment to cleanse out your energy? It's like we just clearing out this energy. And we just clearing out this energy. Hey, my ancestors is proud of me. Hey, the ancestors is proud of me. Hey, clearing out this energy. you guys are doing well and good energy, good spirits, and attracting the life you desire. It's your birthright. Okay, we're coming through with another live message. Make sure you guys take the message how it resonates in your life. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And don't forget, if you love the video, to hit the thumbs up, the bell notification, and hit all so that you are notified when we go live with more messages like this one. Okay, where you guys at? Where you guys from?
Afternoon, everyone. I know we're a little late, but figure better late than never, right?
Yeah.
So we're here with a message, and we're gonna tap in. And in light of Black History Month, we've been coming through with some names, remembrance, practicing remembrance. And Black History Month is the perfect time for us to remember. So we've been picking people that have a spiritual significance. So it's probably not your old everyday run-of-the-mill Black history people that we taught in school, We try not to go after that. We try to really dig into people that have a spiritual significance, right? And we got two good ones today. So I'm gonna let my wife go first.
Okay. Mine is actually one that people may be familiar with, but maybe not. Okay. But small things count. Small things turn into great things. And each movement allows for a bigger movement, the next movement. So today I have Sarah Boone, born in 1832 until 1904. She was born in New Bern, North Carolina, the daughter of enslaved parents, and she earned her freedom and was married to James Boone, in which they had 8 children. Boone moved to New Haven, Connecticut, where she worked as a dressmaker. And back then, they would use like wooden planks and things like that to press clothes. But, Miss Boone decided that she wanted to turn it up a notch. And, she wanted to go into more tailored pieces because they were wearing like corsets back at this time. So in order to turn things up, she actually created an ironing board that we use now. Not only with the padding, but with the ability. Her goal was to be able to press a woman's blouse out entirely, because high-end fashion was creases and pressed and crispy back then. So she designed a ironing board, which we can use now, where the sleeves go. You're able to put the entire sleeve, the ironing board through the entire sleeve and press it completely to get a more tailored look. Which I thought was great, and back during this time, it was very hard to do things like this because it was so much backlash for, Black people, especially women of color to, do heroic things like this. So I thought it was really a great thing that she did, creating an ironing board that was more suitable and for her to make tailored pieces and easier to be able to press the fabrics out the way she had imagined. And she was actually awarded a patent for her improved ironing board. So she was actually able to get a patent for this. And this is something that we still use today. A lot of us, I know a lot of people don't use an iron in this era, but the one, if you are one of those very sharp dressers, I'm sure you can appreciate what Miss Boone did for us. So I just want to shout out Miss Sarah Boone today, in the high fashion industry as a dressmaker back in the day. And, taking her passion to the next level, right? Not only was she didn't just make a dress, she made something so that she could take her dresses to the next level. And that's a lot of us, your gift, right? A lot of times people get stuck on that one thing, but a lot of us have many gifts, and all of the gifts will come together a lot of times if you just start somewhere. So I thought it was very encouraging that she took one of her gifts of dressmaking and was able to create something for the world.
Sarah Boone. So as she was talking about Sarah Boone, Spirit brought something to my mind, and it was a deep thought, and it's something that we need to honor, right? Back then, in her time, in Sarah Boone's time, when black people were creative or we had like different type of gifts, you had to suppress them.
They'd be stolen.
Because in order for you, not even stolen, but it could cost you your life to be creative. Because creative means a mind that's innovative. And when you were an innovative person at that time and you were black, so to speak, people didn't like you because, you know, great minds offend people. Let's just get that out the way. People are offended by you when you have a great mind. So a lot of these creations that these people were coming up with, black people that were making things back in the day, they had to really consider whether moving forward, you know, would cost them their life or even expressing certain ideas. And it says a lot because a lot of them that had even spiritual gifts, they couldn't walk in their gift because it would be, you know, they had to decide, do I want to live another day or do I want to operate in my gift? And now we so freely live in a land where you can move in your gift with integrity if you choose to do so. But remember, it was people like Sarah Boone that couldn't. Back in that day, they had to suppress whatever gift they had. They couldn't even move with it or experience it. They had to put it on the back burner or practice in secrecy. All right. So the person that I chose is a forgotten man. This is a man that history, they all but tried to blot him out of history, like they done a lot of the immortals. I call him one of the immortals, right? His name is Simeon Toko, right? Congolesian man. He was born in Angola. And Simeon Toko is a man that probably makes the hair stand up on, you know, those in authority and power. Because Simeon Toko, according to the records that were left, because, you know, back, you know, and with certain people, oral tradition is preserved. People pass down the story, right? That's how a lot of black religions, so to speak, they exist because the story, you know, it was orally kept. And in Simeon Toko's case, he was a man that was born in 1918, February the 24th. A specific kind of guy. You know, they say during his birth and his earliest stages of life, it was evident that he had a spiritual connection. At his birth, it was predicted by the shamans of the Congo culture. Now, the Congolesian people are very magic. Cameroon and all of that is there. You got Angola, all of it. This is a very magical place that's filled with natural resources, right? One of the richest places on earth. So here's a man, Simeon Toko, born February 24th, 1918. They said when he was born, the celestial bodies came together and they kind of welcomed him into the earth. The shamans reported seeing celestial beings all in his birth review, right? So when he came down, he was born into a situation of famine and a situation of disease, right? And what was happening was, we talk about slavery, so I want to deal with this. Thank you, Spirit. We talk about American slavery. It doesn't compare to what they were going through when Simeon Toko was born. See, the Congo was being invaded by a man named Leopold. He was a demon. Like Leopold's strategy was unaliving. That was period. Like so what happened? Leopold took control of the Congo by coming into the Congo. At the time, Congolesian people, very mystical, very magical, but not aggressive. They weren't aggressive at all. They were people who were tapped into the natural resources like ivory and all of that stuff. It was there in abundance. So because these people didn't have necessarily an aggressive nature, Arabian traders would capture them and sell them into the slave trade, right? So Leopold, he says, I'm going to come into the Congo and I'm going to stop the Arabian traders from stealing Congolesian citizens and selling them on the slave market. But what he really did was he just wanted to leave Belgium and set Belgium down in the Congo. And that's exactly what he did. So when he got established and he drove out all the Arabian traders, he then began to reinforce his murderous tactics over the Congolesian people. And it was brutal. So essentially, this place that was sold, this is one of the most richest places. I'm talking about spiritual wealth. Like stuff that
It had gold and copper too.
it had everything in it. Gold, copper, rubber, like it had. So Leopold, he wants all of this for himself. He's a demon incarnate. He goes there. At this time, Simeon Toko is born into this confusion, right? This chaos. So what he does is he begins to minister, because of course he doesn't know the level of divinity that he walked with. So he got to learn himself, like we got to learn ourselves. So he begins to learn more about himself. Now this is record, so you got to look into it, right? As he begins to become an adult, this is where his life begins to veer into the supernatural. So he comes up preaching in the churches of Angola, but he begins to offend Christian doctrine because they like, whoa, he not necessarily preaching Christianity, but he healing people in droves. Like it's thousands of people coming to Simeon Toko for healing. I mean, it's evident that God is working through him. But because he begins to offend the clergy of the high order of the Catholic Church, they like, oh no, he can't preach in the church. We gotta ban him and get him out of the churches. So they went to ban Simeon Toko, but it didn't work. The reason why it didn't work was because he had already established amongst the people, I'm that guy. I really got a connection to the divine, right? And it was no evidence of power in the churches that he was preaching in. It had no evidence of power. But here's a man that's walking with true evidence of power, but his message is conflicting. So what happened? He of course, he becomes an adversary of the religious bodies that exist, but he's still preaching his message, right? And his message was oneness, right? So and mind you, these people are suffering from imprisonment and slavery on another level. Nothing like that minor stuff in America. My wife was watching something about this, and she pointed something out to me, and I was like, that was brutal. Leopold soldiers used to go in the Congo and say if they had a gun that had like 20 bullets in it, if they came back with 10 bullets, they had to have 10 hands to prove that the bullets weren't wasted. Yeah. So that was the situation in the Congo, that kind of slavery, right? So Simeon, he preaches. All right, so this is where it gets supernatural. They come against him and they send out the marauders to assassinate him. So they throw him in a seed planting machine. They figure we just gonna eliminate all traces of his body. The seed plant machine scatters his body and blows it out, right? Now this is where it gets supernatural. The next day he shows up at the camp. In pure body form, he literally shows up. Simeon Toko. So they wipe that under the rug, like.
So okay. let me ask you a question. You said he was unalived, and then
they said that he showed up.
He came the next day.
He
right?
literally showed back up the next day after the first unaliving.
I just wanted to be clear.
And mind you,
history.
This was all predicted by shamans because he was actually composed of divine elements, right? This is a man, immortal, right? Walked among us. They got pictures of him, right? They got a picture of, you can look him up. Simeon Toko is going to blow your mind. All right, but now, let's walk down. So, of course, the first unaliving, it doesn't work, but he's not as big as he's going to become yet. So they kind of swipe it under the rug like, all right, I don't know, whatever, right? He's still around. They leave him alone. Now it reaches the order of the Catholic Church. So the Catholic high priest in the Vatican City, they like, oh no, we need to see about this guy. Like, we need to go get him. So what they do, they go over, they apprehend him. They take him on a plane, right? Now this is what they planning to do, right? The leaders and the Catholic priests and Belgian leaders, right? They say, we're gonna fly over the Atlantic Ocean, because mind you, they now heard the story that he was unalived in a seed planter and then he showed back up.
Yeah.
So the Catholic Church, they knew something was true about
Right.
this because they was the first ones to react. Forget what the world talking about. When they heard it, they was like, oh no, we need to react to this guy right here, right?
Something going on here.
So they get him on a plane. So the plan is to fly him over the Atlantic Ocean. And when they get in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, to toss him out of the plane, to unalive him that way. Reports say that when they came to approach him on the plane, Simeon Toko stood up and raised his hands to the heavens in a gesture, and the plane stopped in midair. It just stopped. Nothing could move, right? They said that they were so shaken by this that they fell back like, wait a minute. And then they said divine energy was crackling in the atmosphere. So it was almost like, yo, this is supernatural. So they left him alone. Cool. All right. Now, he's still at this time, he more or less a missionary. So he's still preaching a message, right? With all these attempts, all the supernatural stuff surrounding him, he's still out in the Congo amongst the people. He healing, right? So he gets sent to a slave camp. They like, we gotta do something with him. Ship him off to a slave camp. So they ship him to a slave camp. So Adelone Candy, which is a man that gave an account, Adelone Candy was there when this happened, right? Adelone Candy is with Simeon Toko in the slave camp. So he says he witnesses this. He says Simeon raised up and come over and say something to him out the Bible, like they're about to try the Son of Man again, right? So they say Adelone.
They called him what?
That's what they called him, the Black Jesus, right? So he says to Adelene, they're about to try the Son of Man again. So Adelene, who's not really versed in the Christian doctrine, he don't really pick up on what he's saying to him. So he say he just begins to witness the account. He say that I guess the overseers of the plant, the slave place where they sent them at, because I think this was like a slave camp. Yeah. It wasn't like slavery in America. This was different.
Yeah, they had those camps.
Yeah, so they sent
tortured. And...
Yeah, so they Adelene is now watching everything as it progresses. It's a big tractor that, one of them big tractors that chop grass and all of that. So they say one of the overseers was like, Mr. Toko, go over there and clean them blades off underneath of the whacker, the tractor. So they say Simeon go over, as soon as he get under the tractor, another overseer jump on the tractor and grind his body up. They said he watched his body get chopped up in 4 pieces. Adelene Candy said they all sat there and watched his body recompose itself. And they said the Portuguese soldiers ran because they was like, what is going on? But all of these accounts, they've been removed from history, right? Everything been swept under the rug. So all of this sounds like it's all fictional. But there's a lot of accounts like this that have been swept under the rug. So the last and most famous, this is the most famous and world documented attempt on his life. It's pictures that support this one right here. They send the doctors at him now, right? They say, oh, Simeon, you have a heart tumor, a tumor around your heart. I guess they told him this to kind of like so he will put his guard down, right? So they take him to the hospital. They get him with some, I guess they had researchers and all of this. They strap him down to a bed and they mortally wound him, right? They cut a mortal wound across his body like this, snatch his chest cavity open, and they remove his heart, right? Now, pen this. They said he literally wakes up and says to them, put my heart back, right? Now, this is documented. They said they ran out of there, right? Now, when you look at the picture that he got, you can clearly see that he was definitely mortally wounded It wasn't like an incision, like, you know, if they're gonna do heart surgery, they make a knee. It was a mortal bludgeon across this man's whole body and his chest, where his chest was literally opened up. All right. So all of these are phenomenon. Now, the last phenomenon that happened surrounding him, because after a few more attempts on his life, he told him, look, I'm about to leave, but it's more people coming
like me.
after me, right? Two more things that happened. One, the Mbala, known as the Jogger, they were cannibals. They sent them at him. They was like, all right, we're going to get his own people to unalive him now. So they sent the Jogger at him. They said the Jogger actually captured him, cut his body up, boiled it, right? And they said he was quite tasty, right? They literally consumed him. Why show up again? He literally showed up again. So they said that the Jogger, to maintain ground, they said, oh, nah, we got the wrong guy, right? They tried to say that they had the wrong person, but people was like, nah, they had the right person. Whoa, this came back again, right? So the last account, the most renowned account was in 1960. I forgot to say this one. Now, it's a lot of people that this has hundreds of people that says that this is valid information, but they all Congolesian, right? They wiped this information away, but in the Congo, they all testify that this happened on January the 4th, right? Let me get it right. This event took place on January the 4th of 1960, right? Now you can investigate this. It's hidden information. They hid it well. But look, it says prior to 1960, in 1950, Simeon Toko made a prayer that God would manifest the Holy Spirit in the Congo and drive out these slave traders, right? And he said in 10 years, Belgium will leave the Congo. Now, the day after, they will be leaving. Well, in 10 years, they left. All the events lined up, and Belgium actually left the Congo or began to leave. But in their attempts to leave, the same year they turned around and tried to go get Simeon Toko. They was like, all right, we leaving, but we want him, right? So they came back to get him, right? They said, the Congolesian locals said, when they came to get Simeon, he prayed to Anu, right? And they said Anu, they said out of the wind, an army of over 1,000 legion manifested in this reality. And they was throwing trucks at the Belgian soldiers and all of this, right? Now, I know it seemed far-fetched. It did to me, but my thing is, why would they block it out? If it's so far-fetched, why would it be blocked out of history? Why do the Congolesian people, who happen to be very magical people, right? Remember, you got Cameroon, you got Angola, all these are magical places. Why do these people say that, yeah, this happened? Hundreds of people said that they watched humanoid-like beings manifest in chariots out of thin air, smash up the Belgian army, and then they was gone the same way. And Simeon Toko, and mind you, you got footage of him all around. Like, you can literally see this guy's not like it was in a whole nother century. No, this happened. So I just want to honor him. Like, I took a little bit of time on this. And then the most famous documented that even they admit is the story of Essian, the boy. There was a sick boy named Essian in the Congolese, right? Nothing could cure him. So, of course, Simeon Toko stood over him and performed some type of ceremony or ritual over the kid, and whatever he had, I think it was like some type of typhoid fever or malaria or something, but it had overtaken him, and they said they literally watched his life return back to him, right? After Toko did the prayer over him. And so I just want to honor
the Black Jesus.
They call him the Black Jesus, right? In the Congo, all around Angola and all of these parts. And the world too, like, it's funny, our world that we live in, they'll tell us about so many black people, but they won't tell us about these kind of people. These kind of people.
Jabari Mansa.
Jabari Mansa. Shouts to Jabari Mansa. who was a psychic slave who had, they try even wipe Marie Laveau. I'm going to say her too. Marie Laveau, Toussaint Louverture, like they wipe all of these. They don't teach us about these
Henrietta
people.
Lacks, where they stole
Henrietta
her,
Lacks,
stole
another
her
MO.
cells.
And you know what? My family grew up next door to Henrietta Lacks.
They stole her cells without her consent, and that's how you have medicine today.
No lie, you ever heard of that lady Henrietta Lacks?
Look it up.
Well, we come from where she grew up at. We grew up, her family and our families grew up simultaneously in the same place. Henrietta Lacks, right?
No joke.
And they try to wipe what they done to. She's an immortal. She carried the healer cell line. They took her cancer cells when she passed away. They took her cancer cells and was able to replicate them forever. And because her cancer cells had a resistance to cancer, they was able to duplicate her cells and then create medicine from her cells.
What you use today.
They try to wipe her out, like they wipe out Simeon Toko, Jabari Mansa, and a lot of other people. So we just want to honor them today, right?
Yeah.
Simeon Toko, the Black Jesus,
Hey.
a man shrouded by mystery and miracles.
Okay.
All right.
What they say, signs and wonders.
Signs and wonders.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I got a download about being proactive versus reactive. Now, a lot of us, you know, we like to be reactive, but Spirit gave me be more proactive. So proactive, creating or controlling a situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it has already happened, okay? Being proactive, taking action in advance is what I seen, what I heard, and what I feel like is for all of us, the entire collective. Something about, you know, being proactive versus reactive. You know, when you're reactive, you're a lot of times on the defense. You know, a lot of times when you're reactive, it's not a positive energy, but when you are proactive, it allows you to take control. So it gives, you know, you can have a more positive outlook. You can be more in control. We got the Three of Pentacles here. Okay. Something about working together, teamwork. Let's see. Partnerships. We got, I don't know, detach. Maybe you're trying to detach from some partnerships or something like that. Okay. Maybe somebody's hard to work with, you know. I've been hard to work with before because, you know, I'm a person that, you know, I work by myself a lot. And so sometimes it can be difficult if you work by yourself a lot to join groups. And then as I aged, right, as I became 14, I started working. So I became easier to work with people. I don't know, something like that. Somebody wants to detach from a group, but sometimes you are put into situations to help you grow, okay, to help you learn, you know, so you can see things differently. Sometimes it's something about, you know, being able to see a different point of view. I don't know. You could be dealing with people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, people who speak different language, people who look different, whatever it is. Okay, detach from the fear is what I'm hearing. You could be in fear of something. Yeah, stress, turbulence, tension, and arguments. I don't know. Maybe maybe somebody is, I don't know, stressed out about a group, a situation. Somebody wants to detach from a situation with a group. I don't know. This could be at least 3 people or more. I don't know if this is at work because we do have the Three of Pentacles, but somebody could be feeling like something is stressing them out and they don't want anything to do with it anymore. And, you know, if something is stressing you out, I don't blame you for wanting to detach from a thing. Because stress is the opposite of peace. It says detach. You've been asked to detach from something that you've been holding on to. When we hold on too tightly to the desired outcome, it restricts the flow. Trust that the outcomes will work and let go of your attachment. You know, that's kind of like your heart. In order for, you know, people have heart attacks when the heart can't properly be pumped, when the blood can't get through the veins. Right? So I don't know. There could be something definitely that you do need to detach from so that you can be happy again. Because I don't know, you know, we do have to work in groups, but whatever this group is, it's too stressful. Okay, whether it be work, school, home, whatever it is, you know, this is the opposite of peace.
That's right. You know, as my wife was talking, I wrote something down. You know, sometimes you are the change that God is using. And that's why sometimes you can't really, you, I'm not going to say you can't, but sometimes it's good to be aware of that because it might seem hard for you to keep going in the direction you're going in because, you know, especially when you link to people that don't see the vision but sometimes God got you there just so you can be that person that, you know, even though you may not see it now, you being you, it gives somebody else the opportunity to be them. And a lot of times, that's what the divine is pushing. That's what God is pushing. Like, people hold people. And I was speaking to my daughter today, and I was telling her, sometimes I find it hard for me to help people as a psychic. You know why? Because people come to you as a psychic or a medium or whatever you want to call it, a person that can tap into their life. But they'll lie to you about their life, right? My thing is, you don't want help. If your truth is the meat of your story, whether you like it or whether you don't. Whatever it is that's truthful about you, when you tell your story, you need to tell that part. And if you're ashamed of that part, don't tell your story because your story is going to be a lie. You understand? When you tell your story, the parts of you, when you go to people, because we wear too many masks, we trying to present ourselves with minus the things that we shameful of. That's not the real you. And a real psychic going to see exactly what you ashamed of. The part of you that you trying to hide, people gonna see it. So it's best to be comfortable in that version of yourself, and also be comfortable with being the change, right? Be comfortable with everybody not resonating with you. They might not now, but I went through it. In 6 months' time, you will have them same people coming back telling you, I thought you was crazy until I went through. I thought you was crazy until I went through. Or when shit start resonating, they be like, oh yeah, you said so. But what I'm saying is be able to hold yourself down. Be comfortable with being set apart. The reading is charge ahead. Embrace courage and determination, forging your path with confidence and readiness to overcome obstacles. And yeah, your reading, it definitely goes along with your oracle because we got the King of Swords to the Ten of Wands sideways to the Page of Cups in reverse. And basically what I see is the King of Swords is a person that definitely got the ability to do whatever it is they have to do. The King of Swords is assertive. The King of Swords is justice. The King of Swords is Archangel Michael energy, right? The King of Swords is a masculine, so I could be speaking to a man. You, my friend, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, big Libra, right? I feel like you have everything you need, bro, to do what it is that you need to do, right? Now, the Ten of Wands sideways to the Page of Cups in reverse, that's you making a decision. When you in a Ten of Wands sideways, it's about how you looking at a thing. Are you perceiving life to be burdensome, or are you perceiving your burdens and everything else to be mere lessons in life? Because a lot of time when you're in King of Swords energy, that's the energy of justice, right? So that's the ability to understand in life why things are happening the way that they happening. It's like what people perceive to be the wrong thing, the King of Swords can say, oh, that's the King of Swords sees the bigger picture in this reading. Like, what's considered a burden to some may not be considered a burden to you. Or what's not considered a burden to some could be considered a burden to you. And the King of Swords, Ten of Wands sideways. You could be making more out of something than it really is, too. And with the Page of Cups in reverse, it's either a blocked intuition or a failure to look deep inside your intuition. Definitely. I feel like somebody's perception is off because you're not looking at things. Maybe you're not following your intuition or where your intuition is leading you at. That's why I'm saying charge ahead. Hey, this is a motivational speech, you know? Maybe you need some sort of motivation. I don't know, but I see a masculine in this energy right here. And the glass half empty or the glass half full. Because somebody's perception, that could be what's getting in the way of you. God could be trying to work you through a thing and really give you a chance to learn the lessons, but you too busy looking at the thing as something you don't want to go through or something that you don't want to be, I don't want to be involved in. Why go? You know, you got the woe is, somebody got the woe is me going on. Yeah, it's you, but it's you for a reason.
I don't know. You could have been a cheerleader or something. I see a baton here. Something about grapes. That could be your favorite fruit. Something about abundance. I don't know. You could also have like a garden or a homestead or something like that. You're going through a process here. And I feel like it's allowing us to see what's really important, because we got the King of Pentacles here, we got process, and we have distracted. I feel like money could be distracting someone from their true purpose. Now, you know, we need money. Money is an energy that we need to get by, right? But we don't want to be disturbed and distracted by money and not really paying attention to the true purpose that we're here for. Okay? I don't know. You know, if you are injured tomorrow, I hate to say it, your job is going to replace you. Okay? If you don't use your time wisely, it will be waste. Okay? So there's some kind of distractions here. You can have money but still feel unfulfilled spiritually, because life is of the spirit. So, you know, you can have a bunch of material, a bunch of things, a bunch of people around you, but if you're not full in your spirit, then what is life, right? Because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So I feel like someone's going through a process where, you know, it's important to really recognize what's important to me right now. Okay? Is it just focusing on my money, or is it focusing on my money but also being able to be compassionate and empathetic to people, to be able to help, you know, to be able to understand other people, you know, just different things like that. Because I don't know, sometimes people get drowned out by the things of the world, and whoever you are, you were never meant to conform to the world. That's why when you tried to fit in, it didn't work for you, because you're not a person that is supposed to fit in. You are a puzzle piece that was never meant to fit properly, because you belong to a different puzzle, if that makes sense. So sidetrack, change, and delays. It's a process to retrain ourselves to look at things differently. You know, I'm still in the middle of it, okay? You know, it's a process. When you have years worth of doing something one way, it takes time to change. But you have to be open and willing to change, and you have to also be able to see what needs to be changed. And I feel like this is a distraction. You know, money, material. Like, you know, some of you guys are so much more than what you can offer financially. And I feel like, you know, it's time to really cherish the ideas that you have and turn them into action. Because some of you guys are like, I don't want to just focus on money, money, money. Like, I have greater goals. I have things that I want to do, right? But what else am I supposed to do? Well, it's a process. Just don't be distracted that this is not the end all be all for you.
You know, it's hard when you when God made you to stand out and you spend your time trying to fit in, it's making you weaker, and also it's making people stronger over you. You know, you ever seen a person that's designed to stand out, try to fit in, and you know they just trying to get in, right? And what do people do when they talk about you? because you're not designed to fit in. So you're gonna stick out. Even when you get in, you're not gonna fit in because you're designed to stand out. This is why we go through so much unnecessary drama. You around 4 or 5 people, you try and be like 4 or 5 people that God made you to stand out away from these people. Everything in you doesn't fit well with them because you designed to stand out. But you spend time trying to fit in. But then it looks bad on you because you're going through a lot. You feel their projections because when you're not around, guess who the talk is? You. Why? Because you don't fit in.
Because we were created with intention. You were intentionally created, even with your flaws, so that you could be different, so that we could have different people, right?
You don't fit in. You understand? It's simple as that. If you going through this, you don't fit in. The more time you spend trying to fit into whether it's your life, an old life, a circle, a group, a organization, a church, a masjid, a temple, a group, anything. If you trying to fit in where you're not designed to fit in, even when you get in, you're gonna stand out. In a bad way. And it's not always gonna be a good way because you forcing it, and it's offensive. Sometimes, say you're a smart person. If you know you're intelligent and you know you have this intellect, why would you try to fit that into people that don't have that intellect? You're not gonna make. Only thing gonna happen when you leave, they gonna be like they think they know everything. They always got some because you're not designed to fit in with them. But the more we place ourselves in them situations, it's the weaker we get. And then we be heartbroken, but we was trying to fit in where we never was going to fit in anyway. And we be really heartbroken about this stuff like, man. And then you say, I don't like people and people don't like me. Nah. If you spend your time trying to stand apart, you're going to bump into other people that's doing the same thing you doing. And it's going to be lovely for you. But if you spend your time trying to fit in, you blocking all your opportunities and you wasting your time because even when you get in, you don't fit in. It's like, I'm getting a vision in my mind. It's like they got an all-white party, right? And you at the door trying to get in. And when you finally get in, you got all red on. You don't even fit in an all-white party because you made out of all red and they made out of all white. So beat the door down to get in, but when you get in, you won't fit in. I'll be dag if I'm gonna be in an all-white party with red on because everybody gonna be talking about me, everybody gonna be taking shots at me, everybody gonna be rejecting, people gonna be evil-eyeing and all of that, right? But I can't blame them because I went in an all-white party with a red, dressed in red. Allegorically speaking, of course, like, stay out of areas where you ain't designed to fit in because even when you get in, you're not going to fit in.
Okay. I just heard invite. We're not invited everywhere. Okay. We can be relatable, but we're not the same. So that's where we get confused because, you can relate to a thing, but, there are some differences here. Okay. There are some differences here. We might even agree on some things, but we can relate to some things, but some things are different. I don't believe every single thing that everybody in the spiritual community believes in. I don't, right? And you won't either. We can relate to things, but it doesn't mean that we are the same. And I was listening to my husband speak about the all white party and wearing red. That sounds like a person that wasn't invited.
And that too.
Okay. So, that's already putting you out of place because if you showed up with all red, somebody doesn't like you.
You ain't get the memo.
Okay.
It was meant for you not to be there.
Yeah. Right.
So why be there? Okay. I got the 3 of Swords to the Knight of Swords in reverse to the 6 of Swords. Big Libra air sign energy, right? I don't know what it is with this, but this is just air sign energy, right? And it's good. First of all, I'm going to tell you happiness is simple. It says, find joy in life's small wonders. for they hold the key to a fulfilling and contented heart. And it's laying on your Six of Swords. So what I'm going to say to somebody in this reading is, you moved away from somebody. A Knight of Swords in reverse is a fly-by-night energy. And the Three of Swords coupled with it is a person that probably continuously told you things that were not truth. Like, the Three of Swords is a card of heartbreak or a card of surprising shock. You know how you deal with somebody and you're like, oh man, here they go again. They never gonna get it right. So, they always lying to me, you know. The Knight of Swords in reverse to the Three of Swords, I feel like this is a person, somebody, you know, they do a lot of nighttime things. The Knight of Swords in reverse is it's a fly-by-nighter, right? I don't think it's an honest energy. And I feel like, with the Three of Swords in reverse, look at her. She on the car. She like, come on. Like, look. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that had you in that energy. You moved away from it, though. Six of Swords. You moved away. You don't have to be a part of that anymore. So Spirit is saying for you now, in this energy, because you clearly moved away from it, right? I really even feel it. Like, somebody looking back and was like, how was I even dealing with somebody that kept on lying to me like that? Like, just kept lying to me. Heart kept breaking. So that's done now. So you hear Six of Swords, new energy. Spirit wants you to find joy and fulfillment and simple things. Everything is not about being complicated, right? And for heaven's sake, learn how to have fun without money. I'm not saying be poor or be broke. Nobody's saying that. God gonna bless, right? But what I'm saying is learn that God's blessing, the fundamental aspect of happiness, don't got nothing to do with money. It's in simple things. Like, when you can go down and stand by the water and just plant your feet in the water and feel it and release energy, when you can go stand out in the dirt, when you can go play a game of Uno and laugh till your heart can't take it no more, when you can sit at the spades table, maybe pour up a few, I don't know. But Spirit is saying, learn how to find fulfillment in the simple things and don't complicate the matter all the time, because chasing those things not making you, that's not where happiness is. I'm going to be honest with you. If you chasing things to find happiness, when you get that thing that you think gonna make you happy, soon after you get it, it's gonna be something else that you need. Why? Because we tire of things, especially when we look at them like that. If I'm chasing a thing, I want this car. It's gonna make me happy. I want this. It's gonna make me happy. I want this man. I want this woman. They gonna make me happy. I want all these things. That's gonna make me happy. Well, when you get them, happiness gonna be fleeting. You gonna get the thing and realize this ain't really what's making me happy. Because the fundamental aspect of happiness, which is spiritual, is simple. It's simplicity. You know what I'm saying? It's not complicated. Like, it's just, the pursuit of happiness. Man, there's no way I'm gonna go be pursuing happiness. Happiness live right around the corner from me until I complicate the matter. Until I convince myself, if I ain't got this, I'm not happy. If I ain't doing as I grew up with these people. They doing better than me. If I ain't doing better than them, then I ain't gonna be able to be happy, right? That's complicating the matter. Happiness is simplicity. And once you find simple happiness, it make it so much easier to do everything. Like, everything even when you get mad or you get angry, when you find happiness, you can pivot right back to it, right? I see so many people, ain't no way a person should be angry for extended periods of time or unhappy for extended periods of time unless you complicating the matter in life. Put some of that stuff down. Put some of that stuff you think you need down. What somebody need is to go outside and sit down by the riverside. Somebody need to go outside and just roll around in the dirt like you did when you was a kid, because all of these things, they can redefine what you think happiness is. Happiness ain't in achievements, y'all. no matter what you achieve, it's not gonna make you happy long. If that's what your happiness is based on, you're just gonna have a life full of stuff that used to make you happy.
With no meaning when you transition.
You ever seen somebody like that? You got so much stuff. You got so much stuff. Cause they kept buying stuff, cause that ain't make them happy no more. Why you was married 10 times? Cause they kept running to a spouse that they thought was gonna make them happy and they ain't want that no more. And then you find people that have little, they be happy inside. They ain't got a lot. They happy with little they got, they happy with it.
I have commitment, the Queen of Swords, and spiritual awakening. You know, this is about accountability, self-accountability, you know, speaking truth even to self. Because a lot of times we love to speak the truth to other people, but we don't like to speak it to ourselves, right? Yeah. So listening to self. I feel like also someone's voice, you're very passionate about the way you speak. You know, maybe people call you ghetto. Maybe people call you loud. They don't understand the passion behind the things that you say. They don't understand the emotion that comes with the words that you speak because, you know, the things that you've gone through. You're a very passionate individual. Keep speaking and don't allow anyone to silence you because they don't like the way you speak, right? Because that's the main thing. People want you to be silent, right? Because they're afraid to speak. Don't allow anyone to silence you. We also have spiritual awakening. And I was thinking, you know, when a Queen of Swords has a spiritual awakening, you know, a Queen of Swords isn't the type of energy that maybe she probably doesn't have kids, you know, she could be auntie, uncle, you know, typically woman energy, but hey, you could be a divine masculine, you could be in your divine feminine energy as a man as well, right? You know, and the Queen of Swords is very assertive. Like, you know, she knows what she's talking about. She's done the research. She's not somebody just coming in to, you know, give you some fly-by-night information. She's not reporting off of a Facebook post. This is somebody who's actually studied, learned, and they know something, right? So I feel like this could be you feeling like, you know, I'm committed to standing on what's right, what's real, what's raw, what's authentic. You know, this could be in your marriage. This could be just in life, period. You know, you could also be causing someone, if you are married or in a relationship, you guys could be going through some kind of spiritual awakening together, and your words could seem very harsh, but they could be very healing. You know, sometimes the truth is so raw that it hurts. And so we like lies because it feels better. But, you know, this is an energy that you need around because it's so much false. It's so much false energy around us. Everything is fake. We need something real.
Real.
Okay. Spiritual awakening. I feel like, you know, you could be feeling like you're not even from this planet. Okay, I'm not from here. I'm not from this world. You know, you could be feeling like very set apart. Okay, I don't know. You could be really looking at things like, I don't know. Is this person even a person? You know, am I a person? I don't know. Things could be just looking very strange here. Okay, it's because you have a, you know, your ajna, your third eye. You know, when that thing is decalcified, when you can truly see things, you know, imagine, you know, I can only imagine, you know, a blind person and how, you know, I can just only imagine, you know, I don't think we have half of the understanding of even blind people, because to be able to see without these two eyes is a whole different level, right? That means you have to deal with people for their personalities. That means you have to deal with people for things outside of the way they look, how they dressed, you know, the world, what the world expects. So you can be very passionate about these type of things. This is a person that you won't put them in the box. You're not going to put me in a box. And if you try to put me in a box, I'm cutting myself out. Okay. I feel like also with the spiritual awakening, it's very important that you stay committed to your commitments, because somebody's like, I'm so hard because I work very hard to get here. I'm so hard because I didn't speak a lot when I should have spoke. So, I'm so hard because if I don't speak, I'll be silenced again. You could be in this kind of energy. Somebody's going through a spiritual awakening and it's no stopping them. Okay? But it's an authentic energy. Very authentic, very loyal energy. I feel like this is a person that, you don't go around making loose promises, because if you can't stand on your word, then, you want to be known for, what did it say? A man only has his word, right? So, honorable.
I was sitting here feeling something and thinking about something, and I was weighing up something in my mind, and I don't think I'm gonna say it. So, I'm gonna read this oracle on your own, right? This is important. It's time to take some alone time or be single to get a new perspective. And this is what, it's hard for me to say this to people, because some of us don't really know what being alone means, and some of us don't know how to be alone, right? And it's the truth. And when I say don't know how to be alone, I don't necessarily mean a person that doesn't know how to be away from some other. No, I'm not talking about. When I say don't know how to be alone, people don't know how to have relationships with one another and find alone time. That's what I mean by people not knowing how to be alone. Like, even though me and my wife together, we have to have a separate space in our mind that's considered alone time, right? And if not that, the liberty, right? When you with people, you have to have the liberty to be able to be like, I'm about to go over here and do whatever I need to do over here. And my thought process, that's being alone. Like, because you can't include other people on your journey. It's certain aspects of all of our journey that you got to do it alone, period, right? And even if you marry, like we married, but it's still things that we got to do alone. Yeah. Like, babe, I got to go do that. It's certain, then we have roles to play, and they require us to know how to operate alone. Like, to be responsibility roles, like man, woman, right? Role, responsibility. But I gotta be able to be alone, and she gotta be able to be alone, even though we together. See, people don't know how to be alone. Like, alone means having a space that's strictly reserved for you, maybe your ancestors, spirit, God, and nobody else can come in there. And when you in there, no explanation is needed, that's respect. Like, that individualism is needed for us all, right?
Or you gonna crash out.
Yeah, you speaking about people being from other planets and all that. Like, yeah, like I'm feeling like a lot of energy. Like, yeah, we just gotta learn how to stand alone. Not saying
together,
go be alone.
Yeah.
It ain't, because even if you is single, that's good. That's even better for you to learn how to be alone if you single. But if you with somebody, you still gotta let that person know, like, yo, look, I got things I gotta do that they ain't got nothing to do with you. I gotta do these things because I got a purpose that I gotta fulfill, like you got a purpose that you gotta fulfill. But people don't know how to do that. People get in relationships and don't know how to let the other person be alone. Then you get envy, and then you get resentment. So you gotta be willing to bust it down, break it down, talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's where you have those crash outs, because you could love somebody, you could love a person dearly, but if you don't give them their space to think, to cope with their emotions, you have a crash out. Okay.
Right. Maybe you should go play with your toy rabbit. Somebody talking about a toy rabbit.
Silly rabbit.
Silly rabbit. Tricks box you. You going on the tricks box. What's
Sound
your
like
name?
a sex demon.
You going on tricks box. All right. So the oracle is on your own. I picked that. I'm off throne. The reading is 5 of Swords to the 8 of Swords in reverse to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So you confused, you unbound, you confused, you're not bound. The 8 of Swords in reverse, you're unbound. 5 of Swords is confusion. So maybe you free and just don't know which direction to move in now. You know how you come from the situation for somebody where you was in warfare, you was under spiritual warfare, they was attacking you, you was under attack, generational curses, and you know all the stuff that the readers was saying, and we was eating it all up because we was going through it. But how about now it's different? Most of us free now. If you done woke up in touch with your spirit team and say you free. Only imprisonment that on you is self-imposed imprisonment. Because half of that stuff don't work no more when you figure out how it works. I seen a post from my man today. I was telling my wife, I said, I know he listened to me because he put up a post and knocked half the power out the magic when you learn the magic trick and how it worked, right? And that's true. Most of us, we now know about energy, how magic worked. Spirit and revealed to you what they was doing in the dark, energy, destiny swapping, harvesting, vampirism, all that stuff was happening. A lot of that stuff ain't going on now. A lot of what's going on now is self-induced imprisonment.
Yes, self-sabotage energy.
Confusion to the 8 of Swords in reverse, meaning you free, but you don't really know what way to go. You don't really know what to do. Right.
It's like being, imagine, being enslaved your entire life and now you're just free. A lot of people didn't know what to do.
And you know what's crazy?
So what do? I don't have any education. I'm stuck, right? You just got to move.
And you got to move because you can remain trapped in that syndrome that actually kept slaves stuck. When they first took the shackles off, when they was freeing the slaves, the first round that they took the shackles off and said they free, they ain't move. Because they were so used to being shackled, they didn't even know they was free probably.
Yeah.
Like,
and also,
what does freedom mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been shackled all this time. You take the shackles off and you tell me I'm free, but I don't know. So they had to learn what that level of freedom meant.
Okay.
Because think about it. If I'm a slave for generations and you take the shackles off and you push me to freedom, when I get out there and start walking, once I get 10 miles down the road, I don't know nothing.
And then I'm scared from the beginning because if I'm scared if I run, is it like, okay,
is it a trap?
Is it a trap?
Are you coming back to get me?
Right. But even in the Bible, when the woman was accused and she was laying down on the ground, and the men were speaking about her because they were mad at her because she knew everybody's business because she was laying with a lot of these men, right? And so she was kind of just in a position where she was ashamed, and it's like, get up, there's nobody there accusing you anymore. Sometimes you just have to get up. A lot of times it's self-sabotage. It's our own guilt, our own, we project a lot of energy onto ourselves too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's our own guilt and our own shame that eats us up, and it makes us feel like we are being attacked, and that's not true. You feel guilty that you didn't get up. You feel guilty that you're late. You feel guilty that you didn't show up on time or whatever it is. So, we got to pay attention to those self-inflicted wounds.
I just recently heard a story about a deity, the Papa Legba. And the story about Leggy was, I can't forget if it was a dog or it was a man. It might have been a dog. But anyway, this dog was on a crossroads, right? And he was undecided which way to go. So he had himself stretched out all 4 ways, right? So Leggy's looking at him. So they say Leggy began to laugh at him like, what are you doing? You can't go 4 ways at one time, right? So Leggy gave him some advice. He said, if you're confused about which way to go, 5 of Swords, just keep moving forward. And that's a lot of us. we find moving forward. We get confused when we stop moving forward, and now we at a crossroad. But how did you get there when you was moving forward? You only got at the crossroads because you stopped. That's what happened. And that's the moral to that story. When you moving forward, you good. It's easy to find direction if you moving forward. You don't got to be moving at a fast pace, but you got to be moving forward because things are revealed. See what moving forward does? It reveals things. But when you stand still, it becomes a crossroad. Plus, you're an easier target. It's so hard to hit a moving target, but it's so easy to just, you can pick a still target straight off, right? Ask any sniper. They'll tell you. A moving target is harder. A still target, easy. And 5 of swords, 8 of swords in reverse to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, you're an easy target. I'm telling you. Because the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, the 8 of swords in reverse to the 5 of swords, telling me you confused, but you're not imprisoned. There's nothing restricting you. The 8 of swords is in reverse. Only thing holding somebody is Knight of Pentacles in reverse. You're not moving. The Knight of Pentacles already slow. So if it's in reverse, that means ain't nothing moving. Right? Confusion as well. This shit can drive you out of your mind. The Knight of Pentacles is like a crazy card in reverse too. Like, because it's like, it's been like stuck and stagnant into with the 5 of swords to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, feeling like, I just don't know what to do. They keep telling me to do this, but I just don't know what to do. What should I do? Slow down, hold tight. Don't look for no more information, because that could be holding you up. You're trying to get too much information. Hold the information you got and just gradually move forward.
Because anything high vibrational is not confusing.
It's not.
It's not going to confuse you.
I mean, it may be confusing if you're still in a low vibration trying to comprehend it, because light shine in the darkness, but the darkness comprehend not. And sometimes, like my wife said, you got to raise your frequency to understand what's going on at the time. Sometimes when we in the 5 of swords, it is because we just underneath the frequency that God wants us on. Like if we raise up, now I see what was going on. A lot of this is about motion, y'all. Don't let nothing kill your motion.
Yeah, because when you're at the bottom, then you know what I always remember when I was at the bottom of anything? When you're at the bottom, literally, you can't get smushed down any lower. The only thing you can do is rise. Like, a cake. A cake doesn't go in the oven and just sit there. It rises from the bottom to the top.
And it's ill that you said that, because just to elaborate on what you said, think about it. If I'm laying down on the ground and I'm looking up, I got a good vantage point. You know why? I can see every level. If I'm on the ground looking up, I can't go no lower. So I can look up and see. And that's what God gives us sometimes. He takes everything away and puts you at the ground level so that you can take small steps upward. Because sometimes, let's be real, I'm going to use me. I don't know about you. I done got high in life and really got the feeling myself. Oh, I'm out here making things happen, start treating people any old kind of way. You don't mean to, but it get the best of you. And God had to smack me down. Buckle, you going all the way back down. You going lower than the people you was trying to stun on. You going lower than them. The people you start feeling a certain type of way, you was going to treat them any kind of way. God said, I'm taking you all the way down, even below underneath them, because I need you to see your wrongdoing. And that's a lot of people. You get knocked off that top position you was in. Maybe you was treating people crazy. Maybe you just started disregarding the fact of what got you there, the blessing of the Almighty. Because we do that quick. We get things and forget that God gave us the strength, the wisdom, and the energy to obtain it. And as soon as we get it, we start feeling like, man, it's me. I don't got to give you nothing. I don't got to give you nothing. I don't got to do, I don't mind me. We use that real. Once we get something, we start using them. Me, mines, and I, man, I'm talking about us culturally. Go find somebody like black people got some money. They use that word a lot. Me, mines, and I, right? Man, that's what God be trying to get us away from, because pride still come before the fall. And a lot of us, that's why you want to know, some of us, why you was knocked down to a low spot and everything fit. God just trying to show you a lesson. So when you get it back, you'll be more appreciative and you will be more considerate of the shape that you lead others in. Because what is it gaining you to gain for God to bless you, but then your attitude get nasty and you leave a trail full of people who hurt behind?
Yeah.
Or you leave a trail full of people behind that God intended for you to help, but you was too busy doing you and you didn't help them. A lot of people lose their riches and wealth because they overlook God might bless you with rewards and wealth, and the only assignment that you might have is to do so-and-so for this person. And you know what we'll do? We'll lose sight of it, drop the ball. Remember, God blessed you to bless so-and-so. So when you overlook so-and-so and then the blessing gets stripped, you got to remember, I didn't do my assignment. And we all have assignments. Let's don't pretend. When God bless you with that money, you know where you're supposed to give some money away at. Don't act like you don't know what you were supposed to do with the money. Come on now. When God bless us, we know exactly what we're supposed to do with it. And that's why when we don't do what we're supposed to do with it, we end up in a situation. We end up oftentimes regretting. So.
Okay. Good stuff. We're actually probably going to do all 12 zodiac signs this evening. We've been thinking about it.
Yeah, we have.
Y'all want us to do zodiac signs tonight?
We've been waiting for the go-ahead from Spirit, but I think it's about to go down. Because normally, like, we'll get together and talk about certain things. And if it's time, we'll get that. We'll get that. It's like, my people's, her people's, you know. But we've been talking about that lately.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Only thing about doing these zodiac readings, right? We ask like that, you know.
Takes a lot.
It's so many people doing readings now, right?
Yeah.
And just be careful with it.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I say. Like, just be careful. Don't, and if you want a personal reading, get a personal reading. Don't apply a general read
to your entire life.
Yeah. Thank you, Spirit.
Everything's not going before you.
Don't apply the aspects of a general reading to your whole life.
Can't.
Because chances are I'm talking to you and somebody else.
You know how much energy coming through? A lot.
Right. So don't like, because people, they be looking at readers like,
yeah,
you talking to, I see it, you talking to me. They might be talking to you in that instant. But in the next minute, you can mistake the cancer that they talking about for the cancer that your mind telling you that it is. You see how we misplace people in readings.
Or what about when you grow, you know, and you just don't fit that character anymore, right? But then you start listening to the reading and thinking you're still that same person. You know, you don't want to be, those kind of things can be tricky.
Yeah,
you have to learn, you have to have a balanced energy to know who you are and where you stand.
It's funny that you said that, because me and my wife, we was listening to a reading the other day. Just tapped in real quick with the tribe, and it was my zodiac on the reading, and it was so funny because I was listening
yeah.
I was like, somebody in my old timeline.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have discernment, I would have been listening like, because what they were saying, it resonated with me, but at a different time. And it was strong resonation, right? I mean, zodiacs and everything was accurate. But I was like, yeah, that's just not the time. That's not my timeline. But somebody definitely, it's a Libra going through that.
Right.
And understand, zodiac readings are timeline readings. So.
Okay. I got beginnings over here. The devil and responsibility. So I was looking at this and I was like, okay, I get it. A lot of us become addicted and obsessed with new beginnings. Okay? And I know that sounds crazy. You're like, how can you be addicted and obsessed with new beginnings? Why? How do I know this? Because I know this because a lot of things have been started, but they haven't been finished. That means you are addicted to new beginnings. That means that, things are not being completed. We're starting things, but we're not finishing them, which is, the addiction to the new beginning. That means that, you can have a person around that can be treating you very, very well, but because you are addicted to new beginnings, you want something different, right? You don't want to stick it out. You don't want to give it a try. Why? Because we have become addicted to new beginnings because it's never enough. Like, when is it ever enough for us as humans is what I'm seeing here. Okay. And with the devil energy here, it's like, don't forget the people who have gone through the storm with you. Okay. The individuals that were really there on the days you wanted to flip out, crash out, when you really felt like you were losing your mind, when you really felt like things were just, out of place. Don't forget those people as you grow. It is your responsibility and duty to remember these people. Right? I feel like also with this new beginnings, being addicted to new beginnings, think of it like this. Somebody could be a mechanic here. I just picked that energy up. But imagine if you took your car to a mechanic, right? And this is a person who is addicted to new beginnings. Right?
Oh, boy.
You take the car to the mechanic and, he loves the thrill of taking out your transmission, right? So he takes out your transmission and, you're expecting your vehicle to be fixed in about 2 to 3 days. Well, you go back on the 3rd day and he's like, man, look, I took it on, but I don't feel like finishing it. I just like taking them out. You're like, what? You're supposed to be putting the whole transmission back in the vehicle. That's being addicted to the beginning, to new beginnings. I want to start things, but I don't want to finish them. I want to create this, but I don't want to finish it. And I'm going to start this. Why? Because I didn't give my all to even see if this thing will work, but I'm so addicted to trying to get somewhere that I'm just going to keep trying to create a new beginning instead of finishing what God gave me to work with the first time. Okay. So, there could be also someone studying some ancient history. Okay. Something about your weakest points, okay? I don't know. I feel like at your weakest points, there were people. That's what I'm getting. Spirit says there were some people there at your weakest points and just doesn't want you to forget that, okay? And some of you guys are like, I went through things alone. La, wasn't nobody there with me. Well, you got a spirit team, ancestors. You got people like us that, pray for you guys, so don't forget that, the enemy wants you to feel like you're alone. You're never alone. There's a difference between alone and lonely, okay? It's 2 different things. You might be alone in the house, but you ain't lonely, okay? Right? So the devil card showing up with the Capricorn energy. I feel like also, enslaving ourselves, keeping ourselves stuck to one way of thinking, one way of living, feeling like we're stuck when we're free. Because, if you look at this card, well, I ain't going to really show y'all this card because it's too explicit and I don't want to get blocked. But, the devil card has 2 individuals that are chained, but they are able to free themselves. If they want to be free, they can literally get free. But, we get to a point where we get so weak that we feel like we can't move instead of being able to be like, I'm going to break this chain.
Addictions.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Addictions are definitely devil.
Right. There could also be someone definitely dealing with addiction and, starting over, I'm getting clean and then I stop. I'm getting clean and then I stop. Well, I ask you, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who's in the environment with you? And if you're in the environment alone and you're going through this battle, you may not need to be in an environment by yourself. Maybe you need to check yourself into rehab, right? Whatever it is, that's nothing shameful. That means that if you keep, finding yourself starting over and over and over and over again, something's going on. Okay? But yeah, being obsessed and addicted to new beginnings. Like, let's start finishing things all the way through before we try to get to the next project. You know, if you go around and you just, you build foundations for a bunch of homes, but you never build up the community with the actual houses, how do you expect to collect money, landlord? Okay? You can't collect money on foundations. Nobody can live there. You have to build the entire house before you can charge somebody rent. Because a lot of us, we want to put the foundation down and we want somebody to stay in there and pay $700 in rent every month. It ain't no shelter, no protection.
Crazy. Yeah, you gotta build. You gotta build on it. Like, okay. So over here, this is I feel like the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is not out here, but this energy feels like the Nine of Wands. So I'm gonna walk through it. You got the Strength in reverse, to the Nine of Cups, to the Seven of Swords in reverse. So I feel like automatically somebody you depleted, right? But even though you depleted, you in your wish fulfillment, right? Whatever that may be, you brought in your wish fulfillment. Now, everybody don't set well with their wish fulfillment. Sometimes wish fulfillment, your manifestations, they wasn't powerful. So now you sitting in something that you done manifested and you might not even like it. But it's your wish fulfillment. So trust me, you can work with it, right? Because God is merciful. The Most High put us in positions like that. But somebody, on another note, you spent a lot of strength and you exhausted, but you got what you were looking for, wish fulfillment. I also like the fact that the Seven of Swords is in reverse. So you cut out the stealing. I don't know if somebody was stealing from you, or I don't know if you was robbing Peter to pay Paul, or you was just robbing yourself in a way, but all of that energy is over with, right? Because the Strength to the Seven of Swords in reverse, it also feels like you spent a lot of time and energy in the mode of defense, right? Not allowing things to steal your time, your energy, to fight you back, not allowing people to come in and have their way with you. That's the Seven of Swords in reverse. Not allowing life to steal from you, all right? And with the Nine of Cups, like I said, for somebody, your wish fulfillment feels good. And I like your energy. But somebody, you also in the energy of feeling like, I could have done a little better than what I'm doing right now, right? I don't want you to be down on yourself. I want you to know Nine of Cups is exactly what it is what God allowed you to bring in. So if you manifested it, you can work with it, right? Learn how to respect what you done. Even if it's not your most, it's not your best work. Honor it. Even if you manifested a life that you might not be comfortable with, honor it, right? Because God allowed you, and it's provisions in there. If you honor it, the Nine of Cups, look, like I said, and I know I'm talking to somebody, and they like, yeah, this ain't what I signed up for. But nevertheless, it's your Nine of Cups. And last but not least, I noticed to be so because your oracle says release and renew. Embrace the flow of letting go to welcome renewal, allowing new energy to shape your path. A matter of your perception, even in this. Release and renew. Let go of old things so that new things can emerge. Because as long as you got old things, new things can't live. Two things can't occupy the same space at the same time, right? It can't happen. So that thing you need to release, person, place, thing, idea, something needs to be released. But I promise you, when you release it, it's making room for renewal. Until you release it, because your renewal can't happen as long as you holding on to something. Spirit said you can't get better taking what's making you sick. It's a conflict of interest going on in your body. Think about it. If I'm taking what's making me sick, but I'm wanting to get better, it's a conflict of interest, right? So let some of them things go so that renewal can come. For somebody I'm speaking to, I see forbidden fruit on the devil card, right? somebody is a matter of you just learning how to not put it in you, whatever it is. Just don't put it in you. And if you learn how to not put it in you, that area will renew itself. Because renewal is out here, and that's be grateful for renewal, because some people don't got that regeneration power. Mm-hmm. Sometimes renewal is not available, right? Sometimes we go so hard that we make renewal impossible.
Yeah, that was a good way to say it.
Right, so for somebody, you got an opportunity to renew yourself, but it's going to cost you some things you're holding on to. Release and renewal.
Now this next energy I got over here, I'm probably about to ruffle some feathers, but I don't care. That's what I'm here to do, okay? We got hopeless. We got the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse, and we got step back. I see an ungrateful person, okay? I see a person that has way more than maybe they should have, but maybe they feel like they deserve more. Why? Because you're you. I get it. You know, I had this attitude at one point in life, and it really blocked me from getting to where I was supposed to be, right? I heard never enough. Someone, you know, it's never enough. It's like, how much do you need? Because something is just never enough. I can give you everything is what I'm hearing, and you still feel like it's not enough. Love, money, time, okay? Gratitude, step back. Somebody's not seeing something clearly. You know, when you have the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse, but you're feeling hopeless, that's conflicting energy. That means that you were literally left to be meant out in the cold, homeless, poor, maybe unalived, you know, with no resources, but it's in the reverse, meaning that you were spared from this, but you still feel hopeless, sinking, despair, and falling apart. You could be feeling like things are spiraling out of control, and I really feel like somebody's mind is truly playing tricks on them. Okay? Truly playing tricks on you. You know, when your mind starts to playing those kind of tricks on you, you can push away people that truly love you. You can create problems that were never there. Okay? You can put yourself in situations that you never had to be in because it's an illusion. Right? We got the elephant, and I see, you know, the elephant is an animal that has a very keen memory. Okay?
Yep. Don't forget nothing.
Doesn't forget things. This could be you. You could have a very keen memory, but when it comes to remembering where you are now and where you once were, it's like you forget. And then you fall into this hopelessness, shrinking, don't want to be seen, don't want to talk, don't want to do anything. And it's time to step back and look at this action, because, you know, somebody's been doing this for years. It's time to, like, I'm not doing this anymore, you know? I was supposed to be outside homeless 10 times. I've lost my vehicle 20 times. You know, I have, because I'm seeing somebody where, you know, you've been around so much that your clothes, man, you done been through so many clothes and things have been scattered, and you still are here and strong.
That's
like,
for some.
You know, yeah, you know, stop feeling hopeless, and, you know, don't allow yourself to feel like you're sinking. You know, you're not sinking when you're in the water with a boat. You know, the boat is not gonna, you're not gonna sink if you're on the boat. Somebody's like, I can't swim, but you on the boat. You have protection. You've been protected the entire time. That's why the 5 of Pentacles is coming out in the reverse. So it's like life has been hitting you with challenge after challenge, right? Imagine standing on a stage and just getting a bunch of tomatoes thrown at you. Boo! This is what life been doing to some of us, right? But while life has been doing that, you've been protected. The armor has been placed around you, and you know it. So instead of being down and out and having an attitude and being sad, you should be smiling. Right? I know I'm winning out here. I might not have what they say I should have in a bank account. I might not be able to do some of the things that people do online, but I'm smiling because look at me. You know? When they wanted me outside, I'm right here in the warm. Okay? When they wanted no income for me so I couldn't eat, I'm eating good. You know? Small things.
Okay, this is gonna be my last spread.
Yeah, hungry.
It's cool. And I believe it's gonna help somebody, right? Because it's saying a lot. So before I do the spread, I'm gonna read the oracle. Embrace solitude. Reflect deeply for survival. Keep your mind open as answers reveal lessons in the quiet of introspection. Somebody gotta go sit down with yourself. Spirit is calling for you to spend some time alone in a certain way of solitude. And it's said introspection. You know what introspection means? When you sit there and you begin to go back in your mind. To introspect is to go in your mind, in the present moment of your mind. Retrospect is to go back. Introspect is assessing your present energy, but deeply inward, where the honesty lies. Not on the surface where the mask at. Introspection is, okay, introspection is when you got that I ain't shit part in you, right? But you got so much of a mask on that you can't resonate with you not being shit.
You're like, what?
Well,
I'm not shit.
when you really do deep introspection, you go all the way in and you see right where you ain't shit.
Well, maybe I was a piece
Not maybe I ain't shit, right? That's a deep level of introspection, and I'm saying it that way for a reason, because that's the way it need to resonate with myself included. And I've learned this, but you gotta be able to look in that mirror and be honest about how effed up you really is deep down on the inside. And when you reach that and you willing to admit that, the Most High start working with you on another level. Because that level of honesty, it requires the universe to respond. When we lying and we hiding from ourselves, the universe, God looking at you like, nah, you're not ready yet. You're not ready. Because you won't, introspection is needed, right? Now, this the reading. Death card in reverse, to the Ace of Cups sideways, to the Seven of Pentacles. So I'm gonna tell somebody their biggest problem with the work that you're trying to do. You love yourself when you love yourself, because your Ace of Cups is sideways. So you could be iffy with your self-esteem and the amount of love you hold for yourself, but you working. But the reason why the progress may not be showing up is because you working inside of an old cycle. The death and rebirth is in reverse. And man, oh man, I'm telling you, that's exhausting. Like, I just heard a man say earlier, we was listening to a missive, and he was saying, people that got the most action, they be the most people that ain't doing nothing. Because they haven't given themselves time to sit back and think. He said, when you think, your mind is working. But when you active, your mind ain't always working. And somebody, your Seven of Pentacles, you a hard worker, but your investments may not be paying off because you in a cycle that needs to end. I don't know whether it's a frame of thought, a relationship, something else you might be locked into. Could be a religion, could be a number, is a numerous amounts of things I'm saying come through my clairs. But what I will say is, this cycle that you trying to work in, you gotta end this cycle. Somebody, you working inside of a dead cycle. When the death card is in reverse, the rebirth is in reverse. So no matter how hard you going, it can't be born. It can't be born because it's the cycle.
Trying to plant a dead flower.
The biggest thing you could do is work smarter and not harder. Because if you work smarter and not harder, you will realize, I don't even got to work this hard. I just got to end that cycle. I just got to end the cycle and everything will fall in place. But I'm working so hard because I won't stop thinking the way I think. God telling me if I keep thinking like this, it ain't going to work. But I'm keep on thinking like this, thinking it's going to work. It ain't going to work. God already told you. Long as you do it that way, long as you think like that, it ain't gonna work. Somebody know God, I'm not lying to you. Your higher self has already told you what you trying to do will not work unless you change this and come out of that cycle. Somebody don't want to believe it though. I'm telling you, believe it. I've done that before. And I'm still breaking cycles. I'm one of those ones. I worked my way through cycles, but I ain't gonna lie, it was times where I was exhausting myself because I just wouldn't get the fact that I'm trying to do something in a cycle that needs to die. I was telling my wife, and about back in my past day when I was out there cutting up, right? I always had a heart to do right.
Yeah.
So you know what I would do? I'd be cutting up, man. I'd be drunk. I'd be high out my mind and all of that stuff, right? And then I want to talk about God and the deities and everybody, the Anunnakis and everybody. I want to talk about everybody, but I'm lit.
Yeah.
I'm not in a balanced mind. And God was telling me,
Yeah.
you doing the right thing, but you gotta end that cycle. Like you can't be in that way right there trying to do what you. But I ain't listening.
Yeah.
I'm doing live. I was this back before we was doing our mission. This back when I was just living crazy, right? Man, I turned that live button on. Let me tell you something about something. I'll be going off, right? And then be out there backing it up and all that, right? You don't like what I'm saying? You see me off live then, right? Because I know, but I felt in my heart, God, I'm doing what God gave me to do.
Yeah.
I know things in my mind. People still are, how you know what you know though? God telling me, right? And I was always right about so many things, but I was always wrong because I was in a cycle that the Most High could not rock with me in that cycle. Yeah. It just couldn't happen. As bad as I wanted it to happen, God was like, until you come out of this cycle, all your work.
Because a house divided can't stand.
All your work is in vain, right? And whatever your cycle may be, you might not be in a divided house. I was. I put myself in a house of division because you can't be on alcohol, hardcore substances, a lewd frame of mind, and preach about righteousness and the energy of positivity. Because my mind was set negative. Yeah. But you couldn't tell me no better. I said, I'm gonna do this. And I believe that God blessed me because of my zeal and my willingness to work through it. But I'm trying to say to somebody, you might not be strong enough to go through what I went through. And you might not have to go through what others went through. All you gotta do is be willing to end whatever cycle it is. And a lot of times it's the way we think that ends the cycle. Yeah. It's either I'm in this or I'm out of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of us are so strong that when we really make up our mind, think about how many times you put
your
foot down, you made up your mind and you really didn't want to do, you'd stop.
Out the cycle.
You know how,
immediately.
I know what we are made out of. Like, this is not just me or just my husband, I know what we are made out of. Like when we want to stop something, we know how to stop a thing, start a thing, fix a thing, change a thing. When we are tired, we are tired.
Think about it. How many of y'all some strong old people, and I'm about to make you see how strong you was. Because somebody forgot how strong they is, but I'm about to remind you how we all so strong. Pen this. Remember when you got tired of being tired, and you was like, that's it, done. Don't you know you shift the cycle the minute that you became what Elijah Muhammad said, 99.9% dissatisfaction gonna cause satisfaction every time. Because it can't take no more. It has to satisfy itself. You understand me? 99.9% dissatisfaction. The next increment is gonna be satisfaction because even dissatisfaction has to satisfy itself at that point. And that's your strength.
Yes. And that's why it's important for us to even dealing with the wrong people. Once you get fed up, you become such a evil that you don't know because, listen, I know what we made out of, right? You got to protect yourself in every situation. You know, when you are really ready to be done with the thing, you know how to stop. You know what you can take. You know, a lot of times we just get into these cycles, like my husband said, when we go through these, these dark cycles. And, we just have to remember that, like, we're not stuck in these cycles. You got to pull yourself up like you did the last time. Remember that remembrance of who we are and what we are representing. It comes in, and it's important.
And a lot of times, I'm going to say this, y'all. We got to stop looking for God and other deities to take us up, right? Sometimes it's on you.
Yes.
The deity sitting back and
can you get up?
They up here like, I'm not coming down there.
Yes. I gave you everything you need to get up.
I'm not coming down there where you at to help you out of, and you got the strength. Think about it. We put so much on higher power. We get low as we can take ourselves, right? And then we call on the higher powers. Then when they don't respond, we hopeless. But why? They respond and peep their response. Get up.
You know what I told my husband one time?
Get up. Because like Asha said, rise up. Because if you down that far in a low vibration, what you think a high vibrational energy is supposed to come down there and get you? Or do you come up to meet a certain frequency? Because this missive is becoming a missive. We might name it Rise Up. Because that's really what it's about. It's about really rising up. You want God's help? Be a person that's willing to get the respect of the Most High to get help. Not a beggar. I'm going to do something that God going to respect, and that's going to make my help come on. Mm-hmm. I ain't going to lay here and be begging God, please help me, Lord, help me. No, get up and do. I guarantee you, even if you get up and move and there's an error, God will protect you every time. Because God, the Most High, they respect when we like that. Remember the Bible said, take one step towards me, I'm going to take two towards you. You know, if you dissect that, you know what that's basically saying? Even if you take one wrong step in error, I'm taking two to ensure I got you. That's how God responds to us. One step, two steps towards you. That's deep. There's a deep degree in that. Mm-hmm. But it's telling you that we got a duty and a responsibility to even invoke the presence of the Most High. And that's why so many people fall away in poverty and squander in the mind, because God ain't promised to come help you when you won't get up. Maybe you deserve to be down that far. If you can't make a respectable move towards the divine for help, then maybe you don't need it. Maybe you want to be of the demonic. Because if I know I'm struggling with anything, right? And I'm going to leave this alone. If I'm struggling with anything, I do know that I have to at least I at least have to give myself time off of that in order for me to be helped. I can't hold on to the thing and go to God for help, because what can God do? Literally, what can the Most High do or the universe do to help us when we not even respectable enough to clean it up before we go for help? Right. We're gonna go lay on a doorstep of heaven drunk, so to speak, right? And then wonder why nobody don't come out to help us. It's because we gotta stand up and dust yourself off, get in a position where you can be helped and you can move forward. Move the hand of God. And talk about it in the Bible and all the other holy books. You can make God's hand move. One prophet said faith moved the hand of God. Faith is action. Faith is an action where I never seen a man of faith without action, because they said faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. Profit a man nothing. So it's telling you in so many words, divine realms, God, the universe, they respect when you show respect and you move respectably, you move the hand towards you. This ain't about favor, this is about respect. We rely on favor too much. Favor will get us down. Well, I'm going to keep doing this because God favor on me. Well, what about when it's great, you frustrate the grace, then don't nothing work for you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, God favor, I appreciate it, but You know, I'd rather have some respect on my name. I'd rather for the Most High divine realm to be like, this is one. Even though they wrong about a lot, they willing to go and do something. We can work with that.
You know, I was telling my husband one time, I was like, you know, the energy of the Most High is so kind that, you know, when we're doing things where we don't want to be bothered, we don't want to be reached, you know, we can't, we just don't want to be touched, you know, the energy is so kind that it will give you space to figure it out on your own until you seek for help and guidance, you know. That's how kind that energy is. Okay, you know, let me not interrupt you from what you got going on, you know, because you are in control of what you're doing at this moment.
Yeah,
and when you need real help, you know, when you need real help, you seek me and you will find the help that you need.
One day,
that's how kind that energy is.
One day, my wife told me, God don't be interrupting people when they got things to do, because God is kind. He's a gentleman. Right? And I was like, yo, that's crazy, because it was funny the way she said it. Like, it was like, God ain't gonna help people when, you know, they got things that they want to do and they so adamant about doing it. God is gonna let them do it because
you figure it out.
Yeah, right. And that's crazy. Okay. All right, y'all.
Yeah. It's lunchtime.
Bluetooth mode.
So we'll probably be back this afternoon, this evening. Okay. Make sure you guys hit the bell notification, the thumbs up. Make sure you hit all so that you are notified when we go live with more messages like this one. Okay. You never know what we're gonna pop up and do this evening. Okay. But we'll definitely be back. Thank you guys for your time, your energy, your love, your comments. Thank you guys for loving yourself, taking time out for self. If you would like to be a blessing to our channel, all of our information is listed on our page. If you would like to book a personal session with us, they're free. Yes, they're free. We do ask for a donation for our time, because time is money, right? And, you know, God will put whatever on your heart, but, you know, they're free, okay? Thank you guys for, you know, another morning or afternoon of just great interaction. And we hope that the rest of your day is just as beautiful as you. Hey. And that was your message. Hey. Accept or reject it. Hey.